All right. I think we're live. All right. So we are live. Here's the thing. I'm already seeing a lot of spoiler discussion going on in the chat. All mods, which at the moment just looks like an Ojagrawal, please stop this from happening. Please stop this from happening. Paul Mao says Warge. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm not going to talk about, how do I say this? I'm aware of what the spoilers are because I did get spoiled. Now, I have no idea why the spoilers are out so early. Normally this stuff doesn't happen till at least later in the day Tuesday, right? I have no idea why it's out so early. So I am aware of what the spoilers are. I saw it 2 hours ago. But there's only 2 lines in the spoilers. So it's not like there's a lot of info from the chapter. And I'm also not I don't know if it's one, I don't know if it's accurate. 2, I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys, but I think it's way too little information for me to feel any sort of way, and it's also just, I think some people assume that I should feel a certain way about the spoilers. I don't. Okay, so let's just leave it at that. Move on. Ender Ayanami says, told you he gets spoiled, LMAO. Yeah, I guess you won that bet with whoever you were arguing with. Man, this pop-up stuff is trying to make me re-accept this virus protection. So let's move past that. Let's stop all the spoilers discussion in the chat. We don't need to discuss those. All right, we can be perfectly happy discussing chapter 1042. That was a good chapter. Let's talk chapter 1042. Does everybody in this chat already know spoilers? This is ridiculous. What's wrong with you guys? Why can't you guys wait? You're not like me, right? I go on Twitter. I have people already adding me, right, in mentions with the spoilers straight up, right? Yes, I could probably have been better about it, but no, I'm not on guard on Monday. Spoilers aren't supposed to come out on Monday. So, you're not me. There's not people actively trying to spoil you guys. You guys are going out spoiling your chat. What is this? Yeah, you guys are going out spoiling yourselves. Shame on you. CLB says, amazing big chat, Morge. Everyone be more like CLB. Stop talking about spoilers. Start talking about how big this chat is. This chat is huge. This chat is so huge that you guys, it's almost impossible not to be spoiled because the chat is so big. You can't avoid looking at it. Expert at all says, guess I'm not looking at chat tonight. Yeah. Let's see if you manage to do that, considering how enormous and eye-catching it is. Maximiliano Crespo says, yo, Evil has a good video he released today. I believe you. Evil messaged me about that. I'm going to check it out later. I think his last theory video that he dropped about the Kraken Devil Fruit for Blackbeard, I thought that was a great theory. I just believe it now. I think that's correct. Bweezybird says, people want to say your read will fail theory is trash. Thanks, Bweezybird. But believe Kaido saw CP0 in the future, so the final spread will be prevented. That's interesting. I don't know if... See, the way we've seen from Future Side is that, if you're very focused on the immediate battle, you don't necessarily see the outside interference. Because it's a replay of the Flampe situation, right? It's a replay of the Flampe situation, and with the Flampe situation, Katakuri obviously did not notice... I don't think he noticed Flampe, right? Otherwise, he would have stopped that. So, in that same vein, I would expect that this actually happened and Kaido did not see CP0 and did not stop it because the focus was on Luffy at that point in time. Trevor Roberts says, got my mate painting from your store last week and it looks great. Hopefully the contribution goes towards more raid fail propaganda. It's not propaganda, it's just the truth. But yeah, guys, you can go check out MrMordStore.com if you guys want to pick up a very, very nice painting. I would have it in the back, but I don't. The frame collapsed and then just things happen and now it's just more trouble than it's worth to keep it up there. But you can still get the painting. It's a very nice painting. William Marshall says, what are your favorite manga slash anime power systems? Oh, this came up last week. I just caught up on Black Clover, and the magic system in that series is really well done. I enjoy the Black Clover, you know, types of magic and stuff like that. I think it's not like super unique or anything like it really isn't, but it's like the most straight. How do I say this? It does it the most straightforward way while still having some degree of creativity and variance to it. Because at the end of the day, what do you just want characters to be able to do special stuff, right? With some basis for what they are or aren't able to do. I think things like, what Black Clover's got going for it, it's not as, in-depth as something like, say, Chakra, although Chakra itself is not even that in-depth compared to something like, say, Nen or whatever. But, Black Clover gets it done with its power system. People asked last week what my favorite was, and I actually said I really like Bleach because I just like the sword system. I just like the powers being attached to the swords. But I think in general, probably JoJo's. If I'm saying like what does it really well, I'd say JoJo's. It's almost unfair to say JoJo's because JoJo's just cheats because it's just like fuck it. Abilities can be literally whatever. There's no limit or rhyme or reason to what an ability in JoJo could do, right? A stand is just whatever. It's like it can be something totally random, like, oh, if you, I don't know, say a word that begins with A 4 times in the next hour, then you lose your left leg or something like that. That's like a JoJo ability. And it's just like, fuck, how do we go an hour without saying a word that begins with A? And that's the episode. And I say that, so it's just like, they just realized, Araki just realized you can just do it without any sort of rules and just run with it. But it works because that provides a lot of variety for the different types of fights they have, right? So you can't really do what JoJo's does in other series because of the way JoJo's is able to, like, I guess, literally have back-to-back fights, right? Every single episode, every other chapter or whatever, without necessarily having to rely on basically like characters constantly having to go through development and things like that you would normally expect out of dramatic fights, is really just like going deep into the idea that like, no, it's just going to be stand battles. They're crazy, they're weird, they have to be figured out, and it's like a little mystery each time, right? So because there's no rules, that makes it a better framework for a series that's all about fights, if that makes sense. It's a little weird, but you get what I'm saying? It's like a little mystery or back and forth or a little new strategy / chess match that has to be figured out to a degree each time, and that works because there's so few rules or limits to how the battles work. Anuj Agarwal says, I only read spoilers if it's before stream, so I can time out people that spoil. All right, good stuff. Thanks, Anuj. Please time out lots of people. There's a lot going on right now. SSP. Oh wait, no. Did I see TCB scans in here? No, TCB is gonna be. They're gonna. TCB scans is probably shit talking me for getting spoiled. Literally last week, TCB messaged me that, oh, the most crucial part hasn't been leaked yet. You should be fine. Okay, cool. So the TCB messaged me last week, being like, hey, you need to be better at avoiding spoilers, right? Because it's just, it seems like you put no effort into it. And look, I'm not a React person or whatever, so I think people like are less interested in spoiling me than they are someone like Roger or something like that. But when it's like Monday, I'm not on guard. I'm not looking whatsoever, right? Normally, if it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, you can if somebody's mentioned, I don't like go off social media or whatever, but if somebody, you can tell when a spoiler's there, right? Like you can see the first word and you're like, oh, something One Piece next chapter related or whatever. Then you're out. But yeah, I was not prepared. SSP Pancake says, hey Morge, does chapter 1042 change your Kaido villain ranking? For me, I preemptively have him moved in my number 1 based on where I see the story going. Look, Kaido, he has it's weird how to explain this. For Kaido, for me, he has the number 1 spot. It's his to lose. Does that make sense? It's his to lose. I'm very invested in Kaido. Part of it is just based on my assumption that things are just going to keep getting better and better from here. But like, we've spent by far the most time with Kaido as a character I think, out of any of the other One Piece villains. Yes, Doflamingo had his backstory and everything like that, but I think that's the only separating factor between him and Kaido. I think Kaido at the moment has a more compelling character storyline from the bits and pieces we've picked up over time regarding him, right? He feels like a very, very relatable character, at least with regards to who he is in terms of an obstacle to Luffy's journey, but also in terms of looking at what his journey seems like it has been. And the only thing that we're really missing is that piece, that backstory, where he kind of, I guess we get the full picture, right? Like, what is his end goal in terms of, does he want to be Joy Boy? Does he want to die? If he wants to die, what was the trigger that led him to that conclusion? What was he before? Why is he the way he is now? There's this missing piece that's still there for him, which is the flashback. But the point we're at with him right now is much more interesting than I think Doflamingo even was as a character before we got Doflamingo's flashback. You get what I'm saying? So to me, Kaido, it's his number one spot as a villain in my heart. That's his to lose, if that makes sense. It would have to be some sort of a backstory that makes no sense whatsoever or something like that. And just I don't even know. I think no matter what, I'm really excited for Kaido's flashback. And if the arc continues playing out with him being on the trajectory that he's on right now, I guess as a character, I think he's going to be not just one of my favorite villains, but one of my favorite One Piece characters, period. Probably my favorite villain. Japanese Jim says, did you see the Batman? Thoughts? No, but now I really want to. I was not interested in the Batman earlier. I was not interested in the Batman when the trailers were coming out, when it was announced. When it was announced, I was actually pretty cynical about it. I was just thinking, okay, this is DC, they got lucky with the Joker, so they're going to shoot again with the Batman. The way DC's doing things is so weird to me. It's just like, we have our whole DC extended universe, but at the same time, we actually want to try and make good movies, so we're going to make some non-canon good movies on the side, like, I guess, Joker, Batman, or whatever. When I say good, I mean at least, like, high effort, not comic booky. Well, I don't even know. I assume the Batman is comic booky. I guess what I'm saying is higher effort than whatever the fuck they're doing with their DC cinematic connected universe, right? Which is trash. And then at the same time, with their DC cinematic universe, they're like rebooting it, but doing it the weirdest ways. Like they have Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad, and then there's this Flashpoint shit that's going to reboot that. Pretty soon, we're probably going to have 4 different DC Jokers cast all at the same time. One for this cinematic universe, one for the old one that was rebooted, one that's played by Joaquin Phoenix, one that's probably going to be dropped into the Batman thing, because I'm sure the Batman's going to get a sequel, and that's going to be its own fucking franchise, which will be separate, I guess, from the DC cinematic. I don't know, unless they connect those two things. I don't know. But in general, I was very cynical about this whole Batman concept, because I was just like, what the fuck is DC? Like, what are they doing? Are they stupid? Why are they making another standalone Batman movie that's not part of that universe? That's not Ben Affleck or whatever, right? But everybody's saying such good things, such amazing things about the Batman movie that now I actually genuinely, for the first time in a long time, want to watch a movie in theaters. So I might actually go see that. So no spoilers on the Batman, please. You know what? You can spoil me on 1043. Don't spoil me on the Batman. Anime Dimension had his message deleted by Anuj Agrawal. So I guess don't spoil me on 1043 either. Speak of the devil. I guess, yeah, let's not do that either. All right. Am I lagging? Maybe you guys are just moving too fast. I don't think I'm lagging. Thomas Cass says, Morge, have you read Mutiny on the Bounty? It's one of my favorite novels. Why did I say novels? Favorite novels. Maybe the favorite. No, I've not read that. I will give that a look. I think I've heard of that, though. But maybe I'm just saying that because it sounds familiar in some way. I don't know. Maximiliano Crespo says, would you ever he said this in all caps, so I'm going to say this very loudly. Would you ever copy another YouTuber's theory? You could be bringing relevance to them as well as release good content. I'd like to see your spin on other theories. Okay, that's an interesting question. Let me give you my take on it. I have talked about theories that are not mine, but I always, how do I say this? First, I always make very clear from the start that this is not my theory, right? So the biggest one is most likely the end of One Piece theory, right? That's where I talk about this long-running theory, which I don't even know who the original person is because it's such an old theory in the One Piece community, right? It's the destruction of the red line theory, right? So that's a topic. Just because it's been talked about by a lot of other people doesn't mean it's such an interesting idea, and it's one that I genuinely believe in, so I want to talk about that as well, right? So if you watch that video, I cover most of what the original theory is in the first, I think, 5 minutes or so I skimmed through that pretty quick. And then the rest of the video is me bringing my evidence and talking about all of that, right? So I'd say that's an example. Another thing is, I think I'll only ever talk about an existing theory if I feel like 90% of it is basically, or like I'm bringing a ton of stuff that's basically mine. So I just want to bring up that this theory exists, but I think this theory is correct. Here's all of my evidence for it, if that makes sense. So I did that with the destruction of the red line. Zunisha is Pluton. I was not the first person ever to say Zunisha is Pluton. I saw somebody say that on Twitter, right? I saw discussion about Zunisha being an ancient weapon on Twitter, right? All of the theory, but just that concept alone, just that theory, that's like a baseless idea, basically, right? So I start thinking about that, and then when I come up with like a shit ton of evidence, at least to me, evidence, right? Maybe you guys watch the video and are like, this is terrible, that's totally fine. But to me, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing like a million things connecting here in my mind, I guess. Exaggeration, obviously, but a lot of things connecting here in my mind. So I'm going to talk about this theory, right? So yes, the initial singular idea, like, hey, what if Zunisha is Uranus? What if Zunisha is Pluton? It's unlikely I'm going to be the first person ever to think about that, right? But the whole argument, the actual theory itself is mine. Like, here's why that would be the case. And these are things that other people have not talked about whatsoever. So does that make sense? I guess it's as long as, I think in general, I try and stay away from doing theories that are not my own. But it's more so something like if some random idea is thrown out there, and then from my perspective, like I see a lot of things that fit that nobody else has talked about, then I'm building a theory around that. Does that make sense? So I guess another example would be, because I'm harping on this because it's just, I guess it's a bit controversial, but like, you know, when people were trying to figure out who's the traitor among the scabbards, right? Marco, the One Piece theorist, he's probably not the first person out of millions of One Piece fans to be like, oh, what if it's Kanjuro, right? But Marco's theory, so the actual theory that he puts together, that's all him, right? That's all, like, the argument for it, that's him. It's very rare that you're going to be, like, the first person to ever think of a single possibility, but the actual theory is separate from just the what it is. Does that make sense? Like, he's probably not the first person to be like, oh, what if it's Kanjuro? Somebody was probably just like, what if it's Kanjuro, right? But Marco's the first person to put out a really comprehensive theory on, like, here are all the reasons why logically actually it makes sense that it would be Kanjuro. And that's his theory. So I guess what I'm saying is, I would never copy the theory of somebody else, right? Like the actual arguments and discussion and stuff. But have I done videos on a topic that like initially was suggested not by me? Yes. Like Destruction of the Red Line, that's really old. Zunisha being Pluton, that's really old. Those are a couple examples. Kale Fowler says, have you seen Evil's Hanuman theory yet? So I know that there's been Hanuman discussion going on recently, because I've seen tweets and stuff, and I know that multiple YouTubers, it sounds like, dropped some Hanuman videos recently. So I don't really know what to say on that. I'm very interested because, look, I don't mean to flex, but I think in the One Piece YouTube community, I'm going to know more about Hanuman than any of these other guys, you know? So I'll be interested to see, I guess, from my perspective, because, look, if you're an Indian kid, who's an Indian kid in this chat? If you're an Indian kid, if you're young, you might have read the series of comics called Amar Chitrakatha, right? Might have butchered the pronunciation, but I owned a lot of Amar Chitrakatha when I was a kid. Like, a lot of Amar Chitrakatha, all right? And these comics were about Indian gods, right? It was retellings of Indian mythology, but essentially as comics that you could leaf through, right? Hanuman, obviously a big part of the Ramayana. He featured, obviously, in this. There's actually even an animated TV series that I would actually recommend if you want to watch. It's called, like, Ramayana, the animated series, right? And it's not bad. You can watch it if you want to, like, see an animated version of, like, an Indian epic or stuff like that, right? So Hanuman, prominent Indian Hindu mythology figure. I know quite a lot about Hanuman and his exploits and the type of, like, him flying across the ocean, causing trouble in Ravan's land, you know, bringing the message from Ram to Sita, flying back. They build the bridge. They go back over. I know the like Hanuman has to transform into his gigantic self, go find the mountain where the specific flower is to save Lakshman. Hanuman picks up that mountain, flies it back to Lakshman. There's so many things. Like I know this stuff really, really well because Hindu mythology was one of my favorite things. I'm probably a little rusty on it, but because those were the first comics that I ever read, so before DC, before manga, anything like that, I'm a Chitragatha kid. So I'm very interested to see kind of like what people have to say about Hanuman and how that fits with rubber. How that fits with rubber. Because the only thing I can think of off the top is that Luffy resembles a monkey, obviously, like monkey that it's obviously his spirit animal. His fucking spirit animal, right? The monkey. And he can potentially change size. So Hanuman can change size. That is one of his abilities. Yeah. And Hanuman can alter his body in ways, right? He kept elongating his tail when he was trapped at Ravan's place. So I'm interested to see these theories. I'm gonna put him under a Hindu and One Piece fan lens. Edom says, "Hi, Mr. Morge. Glad to see you're still alive. Hey, fuck you. You got them calling me Mork for the last 2 weeks, and now I accidentally said it again, so that's probably gonna return." William Marshall says, "When you were reading Marineford Weekly, did you actually..." Shoot, I scrolled right past it. When you were reading Marineford Weekly, did you actually think Ace would die? And how was reading classic arcs like Enies Lobby and Marineford Weekly? All right, so Marineford Weekly, here's the caveat. I was not very in tune with the One Piece fan base at that point, right? Marineford Weekly, I think literally I would go watch the chapters on YouTube. That was a thing. I might be wrong. That might have been a little earlier, a little later, but from what I remember, I was going back and I think specifically the chapter that the war began with admirals versus the commanders, right? So Kizaru taking a swing, Mihawk taking a swing. That chapter, right? I think chapter 552 or 3 or something like that. 553 probably. I think that chapter I remember watching on YouTube. So I wasn't like on forums or anything like that. Like I was just not really like involved in like broader stuff. So I was not biased by outside opinions or outside voices, okay? So this is what I'm trying to remember. So I can't tell you or be representative of what everybody else was thinking at that point in time. I did not think Ace was going to die. I didn't think Ace was going to die. I did believe that like Ace would be a big deal down the line in the future in the story. So I was not of the opinion that Ace would die, but I don't think I was all that shocked when Ace did die. Does that make sense? Like, not because I was like, oh, I saw that coming, but more like, I don't know. I don't think it hit me that hard. I remember Whitebeard's death hit me harder because I think I'd just grown more attached to Whitebeard as a character over the course of that war. And I think it also, I was young, so I was also expecting it to be like a usual arc where like Luffy takes out a bad guy by the end of it, right? So when Ace died, I was surprised, but I don't think I was that shocked as I see some people are when I watch reaction videos and stuff to that happening. And I can't tell you why. Again, it's not because I saw it happening. I think it just didn't hit me that hard personally. But I was really excited to see Luffy go all out. Keep in mind, I was in like 9th, 10th grade or something at this point. Probably like 9th grade, maybe younger or something. Somewhere in that range, right? When was Marineford? 2009, 2010? Then I was basically like borderline high school, starting high school, right? So for me at that point in time, I was just excited. I was like, okay, so Luffy's he's gonna show a new ability, right? And take out, like, I legitimately thought, I knew Akainu's way stronger, but to me it was just like waiting. I was like, is this it? Like, we're gonna end this war without Luffy beating up anybody? Like, it was hard for me to understand fully that like this is just a straight up, he's not supposed to win here, right? And I really enjoyed it for that as I came to understand that, right? Even at the time. But I was still reading chapter to chapter, kind of just hoping like Luffy gets back up and he has like a full rage thing like Super Saiyan or whatever. I was excited, hoping to see that. Hell, I was still holding out hope that the Straw Hats would be able to show up and contribute in some way at some point. But, you know, that didn't happen either. Did I see Brago in here? Or am I crazy? Brago says sassy Morge tonight. Thanks. Where are we at? Japanese Jim says, what's your next big high effort video, like the Marineford vid, etc.? Dude, the Marineford video, that's gonna be a while. That's gonna be a while. That's gonna be like a while. Like something to do something like that. It's not even on the horizon. I think if Act 3 of Wano ends, I'll do an analysis on that, but that won't be as long as the Marineford video, right? So as soon as Wano ends Act 3, then I'll be putting in, some time into that. And I've been rereading and everything like that, so I think I'm solid. As soon as Act 3 ends, yeah. But beyond that, I think next big video that I would really want to do, it's let's say, I don't know, it's not on the horizon. It's a little bit past the horizon, right? Anuj Agrawal says they aspire to our knowledge of Hanuman Morj. Yeah, that's right. You guys wish you were reading Amar Chitraktha like we were as children. Wheezy Bird says, interesting. The folks that didn't like last chapter just want to leave Wano, and those that did like the chapter want more substance and drama of Wano. Yes, more substance and drama in Wano. It's nothing crazy to ask about. Braga says, I've heard it's already everywhere. I'm about to dip in a bit. Yeah, Braga, we're trying to make this a spoiler-free stream, but it's already ended in failure. But how do I scroll down? All right, we're good. Damn, people are, well, mainly Anuj. Anuj is deleting spoilers left and right. All right, I'm just going to assume that Anuj is doing a good job. Mr. Crescent says, in honor of last stream, I'm very high, lol. All right. Lots of love for your channel from Northern Virginia, the slightly racist part of the state. Don't do drugs, kids. Well, you don't have to share any of that information. Very high. I'm from Northern Virginia. It's slightly racist. Don't do drugs, though. All right. Thanks, Mr. Crescent. I appreciate it. Minty Fresh says, "Where's the Morge plush? Is he not around?" Oh, I have him on a shelf in the living room actually, so I don't actually have him on me. Sorry, I should have kept that around. I totally forgot. I know how much you guys like looking at that Morge plush. Anime Dimension says, "Message deleted by Anuj Agrawal." Thank you very much. Edom says, "I literally did not design the keyboard. Take it apart. Take it up with the QWERTY guys. J and K are like 4 millimeters apart. Be grateful nobody's calling you Lork." God damn it, Edoms. Fuck you. That's a one-way ticket to being called Lork. Aslan says, "I'd be fine if Luffy got up one last time, but just couldn't fight Kaido because he was too weak and drained of hockey. That would break his will, to be honest." I would like it. I mean, I would personally prefer if Luffy's able to get back up and like do something even greater than before. Because, at the end of the day, then if Luffy's losing because of technicality, I don't think it's as strong, in my opinion. Aslan says, "Can we get drunk, Morge?" It's a Monday for me, so I'm gonna have to pass. But you go right ahead. You do what you want. Wait a second. Oh no, never mind. I think we're good. Arabian Prince says, "What state do you live in? I am from Virginia." Are you from the slightly racist part or the not racist part? I'm not telling you guys what state I live in because I don't I don't need that. I don't need you guys popping in and out of my real world, real life environment. I don't need that. I'll say I used to live in Maryland, so not too far off, MVA area. Alan Espinosa says, "Any theories on how is Wano Country going to win this one? Is the Frankie docking still a possibility?" Okay, so you think the Frankie docking is their one-way ticket to victory? That's the ultimate pull the lever Kronk, fail-safe backup plan. I don't know about that one. I would love to see a Frankie docking moment where, it actually does come in clutch, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. As for how the Wano Country is going to win this one, I think that they lose this one. I think the Flower Capital gets evacuated, and I think that Onigashima comes down in there, and I think at that point the actual country of Wano has to be rallied to fight the war, right? So not just, keep in mind what they're doing right now is a very much a discreet Kazuki fanboys only raid, right? Kazuki fanboys only, right? You got the tattoo, you got, like a groupie, if you got their mark tattooed on your ankle, right? Then you're part of the raid. That's most of the people in the raid at the moment. Obviously, not everybody, but a lot of them are Kazuki diehards, right? Huge, huge Kazuki fanboys. But the majority, the general public of Wano, has no idea what's going on. I do think that the conflict has to spread to actually get the nation to rise up on its feet and enter the war. And I think that starts with the flower capital being taken away. Because as they say, this is their one day of the year that they get to celebrate freely, no worries, etc. And if that's taken away from them, I think that that has a large impact. And I think that that sets the stage very, very nicely for a true rebellion. Mr. Crescent says, I'm from the slightly less racist part, lol. Okay. Gotcha. Blue says, do you think Akainu can walk through magma? Yeah. I think definitely. Jinho Wong says, more, do you like Cedric as Batman? He's never gonna get away from that, is he? I think, I think I had trouble imagining him as Batman, but I've heard that he's really, really good in it. I have not seen the movie yet, but I actually do look forward to checking it out at this point. Dimian Wright says, I'm in Baltimore. Yeah, I was living in Baltimore last year. I lived, 2 straight years in Baltimore. I live near Fells Point, if you know where that is. Anuj Agarwal says, alternate non-spoiler super chat from Anime Didn't Mention. I have rewatched the anime. I noticed that Zunisha moving between red line to red line. There is a reason why Zunisha came to Wano. Moving between red line to red line. See, I don't know if that's like an anime only thing or something. Is that the case? I have no idea. Thanks, Anuj, for bringing that up. Luis Vasquez, I haven't seen you in a bit. Woj, do you think the Strats will fight Kaido? Yes, I have a theory video out on that. Maybe not now, maybe not this chapter, maybe not next chapter, maybe not in the next 5 chapters, but I do believe that the Strats will fight Kaido at one point. Bastiana T says, is Kaido's old scar a psychological one? It depends how you want to read into things. I mean, like, he was definitely having certain flashbacks when the Scabbards first pierced him, right, when they ambushed him on the balcony, or on the, you know what I mean, on the upper floor. But I don't think it's psychological necessarily. I think he does have strong memories attached to that. MR Rajak says, more to you ship Ace and Yamato. So I know that a lot of Ace and Yamato talk came up just through the anime reigniting that and probably playing into that a little bit more. Yeah, I think Ace and Yamato, yeah. John Rutkowski says, some YouTubers after 1042 equals green frog huffing a container labeled copium. Is that me? Who's some YouTubers? Easy Man says, I like Chopper / Frankie / Brooke. Could be same character. I don't even understand this. I like Chopper, Frankie, Brooke. Could be same character. You? ? Easy Man, I can't understand your question. I cannot answer this. Chopper, Frankie, Brooke could be the same character. I don't think that they're similar characters, to be honest. So I don't know. Unless you're talking, I guess, comic relief to a degree, but then a lot of the Strats are comic relief. You know what I mean? I don't really know what you mean. So I'm going to assume you know what I mean. Jinho Wong says, next movie Morge video, maybe. Dude, next movie... I'm not going to go back to movie Morge unless I know I can do it regularly. You know what I mean? Because there's no point in me dropping a video once every, 3 months when I get the time. So I got to... it has to be paced out in a certain way. My camera is lagging, not the stream. All right, so as long as something's working. Ivan back from the card shop. Mr. Norge. Could you give us an updated layout of Frankie docking with the new members? I mean, I think Frankie's center no matter what, right? Because it's his thing, so he's docking. With the new characters, let's assume Robin's not going to do it. I think Zoro and Sanji still hold up the legs, right? Symbolic or whatever. Who was in his... So Usopp left arm, Chopper was the head. Okay, and they needed Robin on the right arm. Or maybe they needed Robin on the left. It doesn't matter. One of the arms they needed Robin, right? So I think Brook fills the spot pretty easily. I don't think Jinbei does docking either. So I think Brook is filling that Robin spot, and then besides that, the docking is pretty much the same. Blue says Mera Mera Awakening will be blue fire, which is greater than magma. I've actually seen that theory before. People talking about, the idea that Sabo will fight Akainu. I really don't think Sabo versus Akainu is happening. And I just don't think. I think that that's something that Sabo fans really, really want. But I think it's clearly set up to be much more important for Luffy's story for him to fight Akainu at some point. And it's literally like a grudge for Luffy at this point. He's made it pretty clear. Blaze says, hi Morge, do you think Kaido's buff hybrid form is his awakening? He looks a lot similar to the Impel Down guards. Kaido has most definitely not shown his awakening yet. You know what a big deal Oda makes out of the awakenings, right? He makes it very clear that character is using awakening now or not using awakening. And awakening is Kaido's final form. I don't think Oda would just slip that in without making it very clear. Thomas Kaz says, doesn't Luffy have to be rubber or at least something similar since NL's lightning was ineffective? Look, that's my thinking. I'm still just assuming he's rubber. Part of me is like, please just let the Gomu Gomu no Mi just be rubber. Please just let it be rubber, and please let this all be some other explanation. But I have a feel like, come on, at this point, it's looking like Luffy's fruit is something else. Either it is the rubber fruit, and the rubber fruit is just broke in a way that we had no idea about, or it's not the rubber fruit this entire time, in which case, it's like learning Santa Claus isn't real, right? It's similar to that. Thanks, Anuj. Super chat from Cigar Verk. Kaido is built different, and it's truly now disrespectful to call his title fraudulent. He is, for me, first Yonko with combat feats that justify his title. Really? Look, I'm not trying to take away from Kaido or anything like that, but I think it's basically a little bit like, to me, it's like we've only seen, and this is part of the tricky thing with Kaido and Big Mom. It's such a bubble, right? So everybody that fought in Marineford, Whitebeard, the Admirals, Marco, etc., right? Garp, Mihawk, all those guys, Shanks. It's a separate bubble from like Kaido, Big Mom, like Luffy, Kid, Law, etc. Like it's so hard to. It's like they're different world. Like we have so few, so limited ways of comparing those two groups. So to me, it's like, yeah, Kaido's been doing a lot of work. He's been putting in a lot of work against guys that it's hard. Like he's doing most of it against Luffy. So how do I scale that in any way? I guess to like, what does that mean against Akainu? You know what I mean? Like it's I'm not trying to discredit what Kaido's doing, right? It's just it doesn't. Kaido beating on Luffy, no matter how many times he does it, is just never probably going to impress me that much. Maybe until we see Luffy versus somebody else, like an Admiral or something like that. Not to discredit what Kaido's doing. I personally think that, yeah, it's entirely possible Kaido's just the strongest person around right now. I think that's entirely possible. Honestly, I've from the start kind of just given him that credit based off of his title. And I'm like, yeah, it's his title to lose unless he shows something that really takes away from the idea that he's the strongest. I'm just going to let him have that. But I'm saying, like, I'm not like, there's nothing that he's doing new that's impressive to me because it's just against Luffy it's like all of this is more so in the context that like, it's like, wow, Luffy is doing this against Kaido, right? I'm never going to be like, wow, Kaido is doing this against Luffy because it's Luffy, right? Like it's before, like you go back 2 hours and Luffy was like clashing evenly with Ulti. Like all of this new shit Luffy's doing, it's like out of the blue. I have no way to gauge it. It's not, I'm never going to be like, wow, Kaido's really holding his own against Luffy. You know what I mean? Like 2 hours ago, he was he was closer to Katakuri than he was to like Yonko level, in my opinion. Easy Man says, I feel like they could all be the same character. I see what you're saying, but I think they're pretty distinct in many ways. I actually don't really see what you're saying. I think Brook is very different from Chopper. I think Frankie and Brook, you could say there's maybe some similarities. They have a similar route of humor that Oda goes with them. They're definitely two of the zaniest, probably the zaniest two Straw Hats on the crew. I think Frankie and Brook. Sean Easton says, which Straw Hat is Kronk? Who pulls the lever? I don't know. Maybe Chopper, because he'll kind of just do whatever you say, and it's kind of naive about it. I'll say maybe it's Chopper. What is going on? 2 missed super chats from Babtron? Oh, it's from Babtron. Maybe I tried to avoid it on purpose. First one was me asking if 1042 confirms Kaido will win next round. 1042 confirms Kaido will win next round. Second was which Straw Hats are canonically virgins / not. Okay, these are fun questions. All right, first question. 1042 confirms Kaido will win the next round. I mean, Kaido, yeah, I guess, like, unless Luffy's able to... Wait, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's at least going to appear like Kaido wins, right? But it's... I don't know. It depends also how you want to define the round or whatever. To me, it doesn't... I think it's set up that Luffy's going to show something greater, right? I think Luffy's still going to, like... Because we have that... If you're putting Luffy in the same situation that Odin was, you would generally do it to show Luffy, surpassing what Odin did, right? So Luffy getting back up in the same scenario. We're not above Onigashima yet, right? So Luffy, we know he's not going to be down and out just for the rest of this act, I think. So that's why I'm not like, oh, the raid's failing because of this, right? To me, it's like stuff will happen. There will be drama. Maybe we see even a new level for Luffy. But until we see Kaido use his flashback and his awakening, particularly his awakening, I think we're still set up for Luffy to lose ultimately when Onigashima is above the flag capital, as I've been saying. Second question was which Straw Hats are canonically virgins / not. All right. Canonically virgins is Luffy, right? Let's go down the list. Luffy, I think, I guess okay, here's the question, right? How much credit do you want to give to the Straw Hats for what they're doing in the downtime on islands after they've won the big battle, right? So what I mean by that is, the Straw Hats have won the big fight in what's going on during that victory period, right? They win in Arlong Park, right? They're in the village for a little bit. I guess there's no, what are they doing after, they win in that week following their Ennis Lobby victory, right? They're just chilling. What are they doing going around town? What happens behind the scene? I don't know, right? Because I'm almost inclined to be like, maybe Usopp wandered off and got some during, I don't know. He told some women he was Sogeking, showed them a poster. I don't know. It's hard to, if we're giving him credit like that, then anything's on the table, right? Except for characters we know would not be interested like Luffy, right? And obviously Chopper. I guess, okay, definitely not a virgin. Frankie, Robin, Brook, Jinbei. Sanji is not, right? Because we could see early on, back in Baratier, Sanji was actually a ladies' man, a legitimate ladies' man, right? It's over this journey with the Straw Hats that's fucked him up. It's over this journey with the Straw Hats that's fucked him up and turned him into this weird, degenerate, perverted dude on life support anytime he sees, a moderately attractive woman, right? But before that, he was a ladies' man. Zoro, I'll just give him the credit that, at some point while sailing around before meeting Luffy or something like that, he met a damsel and, I would assume somebody caught his interest at some point, right? The tricky part with Luffy and Zoro is who captures their interest. Nami, not a virgin. I think I covered everybody, right? Fuck, how far behind am I now? This fucking chat is scroll. Okay, we're good. Tofi says message redacted. Is that another spoiler? Hawkbox says, if/when raid fails, are you changing your name to Mr. Chad? I like to think that you guys already think of my name as Mr. Chad. Peter Kazel says, do you think Kaido will ever awaken? Yes. That is, in fact, what I was just talking about. So I'm doing these chats backwards. Let me scroll up a little bit. I think Kaido awakening will be when Luffy loses, in my opinion. Hey, Vinland's here. Vinland says, Kaido has probably never been pushed to his awakening before his zone awaken after being knocked out. Kaido's so strong that Luffy will be the first one to push him that far. I think he'll be the first one to push him that far in a long while. I'm sure he's used it before. Ramen Stain says, I thought Kaido being a dragon was his awakening. I mean, I doubt that. Just because of the way that Oda introduced Kaido's hybrid form, right? It was, if you guys recall, it was extremely anticlimactic, without fanfare. It was kind of just very straightforward, right? The hybrid form was kind of just there. Compared to Kaido's own introduction and his actual dragon form introduction, Oda makes a big deal out of introducing Kaido, right? So his hybrid form is just, here's his hybrid form. There was very little to it, right? So that tells me that Oda's saving something really, like, it's not his final transformation. You would obviously make the final transformation a lot more impactful. Because Kaido's hybrid reveal, like, that pales in comparison even to, like, Lucci's hybrid reveal. You know what I mean? Weekly Zonin says, thoughts on Kaido being on Luffy's side for the final war. Less as an ally, but their goals align at the same time. I don't think Luffy needs any more allies at this point. Like, Luffy, having Kaido on his side, it would be kind of ridiculous, I think. Oblong Polecast says, if Kaido actually showed up to Marineford, what do you think would have been different? If Kaido showed up to Marineford, what would have been different? And we assume everything else goes the same, right? I think that Marineford, it does not, like, I think that ultimately the Marines still come out on top, but the battle would just play out to its fullest, right? So there would not be a truce called when Shanks shows up and things like that. Kaido's there, Blackbeard's there, Whitebeard's still probably going to die, right? And the Marines are facing down all of these pirates. The pirates don't like each other. Blackbeard wants to fight Shanks. Shanks, if Kaido's there, Kaido will fight anybody that he gets his eyes on, right? Whitebeard obviously fighting Blackbeard, probably fighting Kaido, still fighting the Marines, etc. Like, it'll just be a huge free-for-all. The Marines obviously not letting anybody go. So I think that, in general, if Kaido had shown up, it would have just evolved into a huge brawl. Huge brawl. I think ultimately Whitebeard still dies. I think the Marines are, like, severely crippled, but maybe they're the winners at the end of it. But, like, it's so ridiculously bad that maybe the whole Marine maybe there is no winner, to be honest. I have a hard time even saying that the Marines win, because, like, obviously if everybody ganged up on the Marines lose, but everybody would also be fighting each other, so it's just complicated. I think nobody wins. I think everybody, every Yonko Empire is just in absolute shambles. The Marines are in shambles. It's just a very messy situation. Sheesh says, Phantom or the pirate hero better show up because Anuj is fighting for his life out here. Yeah, timeout. Hold on, we've been talking about this mod tier list for a long time. And look what happens. When the mods are truly needed, when spoilers are rampant on a Monday of all days, the Lord's Day, when spoilers are rampant, who is here? It's just Anuj. Everybody else, the pirate hero, he's always asking, when's the mod tier list gonna be? Huh? When's the mod tier list gonna be? You're really looking forward for a mod tier list to happen, considering you're not showing up when you're most direly needed. Interesting. Not a good look for when the mod tier list ultimately happens. The pirate hero, if you ever watch this, just know that I do rely on you heavily to tell me what I've missed super chats, so please don't take this any sort of way. Hackback says, if/when the raid... No, we covered this. Covered Tofi. Carlos Echeverria says, you've been working out, Morge. Looking buff. Thank you, Carlos. Last week I was told I was looking hench, which turns out it's like British slang for the same thing, but in a weird British way, where it's like, you look like a henchman. I'm like, what the... That's not nice. I have been working out, though. Thank you. Tofi says, do you think One Piece will have a really big plot twist which will turn the story upside down? God, we have to deal with this question every week. I refuse to entertain this question anymore. Yamil Diaz says, if Yamato had somehow... I think the raid will fail. If Yamato had somehow joined Ace, how would things have been different? Then what Yamato gets... If Yamato joins Ace, then they still inevitably run into Whitebeard. Whitebeard basically forcefully adopts both of them. If Whitebeard took in Yamato, right, does that cause Kaido to go to war with Whitebeard? It depends on how much Kaido had Yamato in his plans for the future of being Shogun of Wano and everything like that, So worst case scenario, I don't think Yamato greatly changes things in the future. If she had joined Whitebeard's crew, I think everything else still mostly plays out. Maybe the Blackbeard pirates, they have a very difficult time with the payback war, but I think Blackbeard still takes it ultimately. And yeah, besides that, Yamato currently exists as one of the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates, unless Kaido decided to go to war against Whitebeard for the same of Yamato. Anojagro says, if he misses a super chat, he is me. Everyone, please tell me. I can't monitor like I normally do because of the spoilers. That's right. That's right. Vanilla Thunder says, Morge, order food. I actually have already ordered food. It should be coming in about an hour and 20 minutes. Hold on. How is Anuja the only good mod here right now? What is going on? What is going on? Keenan says Sanji is for sure a virgin. If he even sees a girl take his top off, take her top off, no way he doesn't immediately nosebleed and scare her off. No, but that was, I think, pre-time skip Sanji versus post-time skip Sanji, two different people. I think pre-time skip Sanji, he had his way with the ladies. At least from his introduction, that's what it looks like. Bunfagum says, Morge, Nami is Sun Wukong the parallels. I don't think Nami is Sun Wukong. I mean, I get the staff, but I don't think Nami is Sun Wukong, in my opinion. Miss Super Chat from Mr. Crescent. Do you think Wano fatigue is the reason why people don't want the raid to fail? I think that is a large part of it, I suppose, but also just like, I guess like a large part of it is once you get behind the idea that like the arc is ending or we're hitting a climax, you want to be able to properly enjoy that. Like, I mean, I can be frank, like you want to be able to properly enjoy that and be like, okay, so the arc is ending. These were the fights we got. This is the final fight we're getting. You kind of want to be in the headspace of like, I want to enjoy this final bout for what it is, right? So people don't want to be hearing like, hey, this is a setup for something else or something like that, because then that shifts, I guess that takes away a little bit from your ability to enjoy treating a battle as a final battle, right? It changes your perspective on it, right? Go to like Luffy versus Crocodile in the Desert, right? If you're reading that and you're wanting it to be, well, I guess we won't get into things like that. I'm trying to think of an example that you guys get what I'm saying, right? Like you're ready for the story to end, right? Whether you liked it, didn't like it, once you're ready for the story to end, then you want to be in the headspace that you're reading the finale of the story, right? Now, that being said, I think people are severely underestimating how great it would be if/when the raid fails. So anybody who's like, oh, the raid failing would drag on the story and that's the reason they don't like it, right? Like, I can understand the reasoning that, like, oh, I want to be in the headspace that I'm reading the final battle, and I don't want, like, other possibilities or, like, doubts to, like, kind of ruin that reading experience. I get that. If people are like, oh, I don't want the raid to fail just because I think it'll drag on this arc and stuff, I'm like, no, you're so mistaken. This arc, the drama that would come out from that is, like, a million times better than just moving on to Elbaf or whatever the fuck you think is a good idea. So that's all I'll say. If you want max peak, One Piece dramatic setup, raid failing is best. Drenigan says, Morge, put your phone on silent, not vibration, lol. I normally do. I did just set it to silent. Evil's here. What's up, man? I'll check out your theory soon. Babtron says, saw an interesting theory on TikTok saying that Shanks stopped Kaido from finding his ace by telling him Joy Boy would shortly arrive at Wano. Yeah, that would be interesting. I think somebody's mentioned that here before. Babtron, how come you didn't say hashtag Babthoughts? I don't even know if this is actually you. Najagarwal says, super chat from Mr. Oh, no, we covered this. Yeah, Pirate Hero is the MVP. I'm joking for the most part. It's just funny that he's not here right now. After the amount of times he asked for the mod tier list. Aslan says, I'm the only SSSSSSS tier mod. Sorry, guys. I'm seeing a lot of work being done by Anuj Agarwal. That's all I'll say, Aslan. Samed Yunus says, I vote Anuj for best mod 2022. Got a good case. Weekly Zonin says, what will Joy Boy's flashback be like? Joy Boy's flashback? We have no idea. It should cover the Void Century, though, right? Probably the most important flashback in One Piece history. Lee P says, what fruit does Usopp / Nami need? I would prefer if neither of them got a fruit. If Nami got a fruit, I'd be cool seeing her get Monet's fruit, the snow fruit. Fits her whole, power set. Grizzly Adams says, if Kaido goes to Marineford, Big Mom wins. Actually, that's true, because everybody else gets fucked. And then at that point, Big Mom just wins. Gabe C says, waifu tier list, question mark. Dude, come on. I told you guys, I'll do a waifu tier list, but I'll have to think of some absurd goal for it. Something like 500,000 subs or something like that. Marmars, hey, what's up? Says, pre-time skip Sanji was more normal. Yeah, exactly. Pre-time skip Sanji was more normal, and especially, not even pre-time skip Sanji, if you go all the way back to, like, Barati A Sanji was, he was genuinely, like, a mostly normal guy. He was just, like, infatuated, I guess, with women, but he wasn't, like, a perv or a creep or something like that, and he actually was smooth in some ways. Great Kate says, why do Nami and Robin sleep in the same bed? Seems highly sus, to be honest. I don't think that's sus. I think that's just Oda being Oda. I think my theory is there was a scene of Momonosuke sleeping in the same bed as them, right? I think my simple theory is just that Oda liked the idea that Momo gets to sleep with both Nami and Robin, so he just put Nami and Robin in the same bed. I think that's just the answer. Saru Princess Taco says, people stop boiling or you will get banned. Please stop. That's right. Listen to Princess Taco. Saurabh Wagamar says, oh my god, is the stream frozen? Can you guys hear me? Fuck. Is the stream frozen? I'm not restarting the stream. That's not happening. Saurabh Wagamar says, do you watch Uteron's theories? According to him, the original fruit of Luffy is resin, raw rubber, and the awakening is amber. I thought his theory was oil, but maybe I misread that or misheard that somewhere. I've not seen the theory. Bunfagum says, Onigashima will be held up by the lanterns. I don't know if lanterns are capable of doing that. Shit, is the stream... How laggy is the stream? Can you guys hear me? For me, it's like, it looks frozen. It looks straight up frozen as far as I can tell. Someone confirm for me that the stream is still running. I'm just going to keep going. Thomas Cass says, miss super chat. No, we covered this. Covered this. Ben Stiller, message retracted. Mr. Crescent says, has making One Piece your career increased/decreased or stayed the same your enjoyment for the series? Decreased enjoyment for the series. I still wouldn't call One Piece my career. Atris says, do you think the Kazanbo will come back? Orochi's speech in 1030 made it seem like Kazanbo would be way more important. I thought it'd be way more important too. But as far as I can tell, it hasn't been. I don't think... I'm going to say right now I have no expectations for the Kazanbo, but I would like for it to play a bigger role. Ben Stiller, thanks again. Am I just audio right now? Let me see the most recent chat. Fuck, I can't even scroll to it. What is going on with the internet right now? Am I moving? You guys can hear me. Can hear you but frozen. That's good enough. It'll unfreeze at some point, right? How long could it stay frozen? I'll try stopping the video and restarting the video as soon as I catch up to these supers. Oh, I moved. I saw myself move just now on stream. That's something. Dayton Totus says, did Shanks save the Marines by stopping Kaido then? I think Shanks saved the balance of the world. I mean, like, he probably did save the Marines. The Marines would have been screwed if it was, like, Kaido and Whitebeard and Blackbeard at their door. Kaido showing, yeah, Shanks showing up also helped stop Blackbeard. So if you just take Shanks completely out, if you took Shanks completely out of the equation, Shanks actually genuinely saved the Marines from both Blackbeard and Kaido being at their door, right? So I think the Marines would have been potentially done at that. It's just too much, right? Especially if the timing, depending on the timing worked out, if Whitebeard and Kaido are attacking at the same time. I don't know. Sean Easton says, "Can you put the chat on slow mode? We're drowning." Yeah, sure. I can. I know how to put it on slow mode. Of course. Slow mode. I could put it on slow mode. That is not a problem. You want me to put it on slow mode? I can put it on slow mode. All right, I'm Googling how to put it on slow mode. YouTube chat, slow mode. Click live chat. Click settings, click live chat. All right, we are going to learn this together. So I click settings. Where's settings? Where the fuck is settings? I don't know about this. I don't know if there's a settings. I don't know if I can just find stream settings. Found it. All right. Click stream settings. And then enable auto stop. This isn't it. This isn't it. Where the fuck is slow mode? All right, let's check one more time. Click live chat. Toggle on slow mode. What the fuck? Why don't I see this? Additional settings? No, there's no addition. God damn. Moderate. Okay, hold on. Slow mode. All right, create a live stream. I've done that part. So create a live stream. After entering title and description, done, check. Click create stream. No worries. Click settings. Okay. Click live chat. Where is that? I don't see that. What is that? Where's live chat? Holy shit, I'm losing a lot of viewers off of this. All right, enough of this slow mode nonsense. We're staying in, we only go at one speed, and that's this speed. Young Usopp says, "Can you check out my chapter 1042 song what? Can you check out my chapter 1042 song analysis? I'm going to tell you what I told you last time." No. All right. Moving on. Restart stream. I'm not restarting this stream. Over my dead body are we restarting the stream. The days of restarting streams are over. We might have to restart this stream. No, we're not going to restart this stream. We're not going to restart the stream. I would do a poll for whether or not I should restart the stream, but I'm afraid the poll itself would crash the stream, therefore defeating the point of the poll. All right, let's try and catch up. Hold on. Let's try and catch up. I'm back. I'm just audio. I'm back. Just audio. Look at these frozen expressions of me. I'm so exasperated. Power Ranger says, "This is really random, but the ape creatures that eat and can turn into humans in the beginning of the Hunter x Hunter exams are actually real in my race's folklore. We call them Pin-U-Y." Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's really random, Power Rangers, but thanks for sharing. All right, I'm going to use YouTube's monetization tab to see if I can catch up on these supers. Sound is good. Video is stopped by... All right. W podcast. Ben Stiller says, "Thoughts on similarities between the flashbacks of Kaido's first meeting Big Mom and Roger meeting Rayleigh or Luffy meeting Zoro?" I mean, I think there's more parallels with Kaido meeting King, right? In my opinion, I don't think Kaido meeting Big Mom is necessarily like that. At least as far as I could see. I think we need a bit more insight into Kaido and Big Mom. Is it good? Maybe if I do no sudden movements. Drenigan says, "Only stream on one platform, Morge." Am I streaming on Twitch somehow too? I don't think I'm streaming on Twitch. Rainy Season Here says, "Is it wrong if my number one One Piece waifu is Carrot?" If you're a furry, I guess it's okay in your culture. I don't know. Thomas Cass says, "Miss Super Chat from Ivan back from the card shop asked him, 'Do you think Brooke could get laid currently?' Lol, I swear I was on topic at the time. No, what type of insane woman would you would actually have to find some sort of a psycho who's just into pure corpses. He's literally just a skeleton. Brook might look funny and, lovable from our perspective as, just manga readers, anime watchers, but in the real world, if you saw a skeleton walking around, that's weird. That's not... What type of woman's looking at that and being like, I'm gonna fuck that guy? Like, that's not a thing. Okay, I think we're rolling now. I think we're mostly good. Babtron says, Mork, Lord Mork, your old age is showing. Hashtag Babtots. Thanks, Babtron. That's what I needed to hear right now. Scholar H says, howdy. What are your thoughts on Kaido thus far? His love for battle, depression, chats with King, time with rocks, and how it all relates. My thoughts on Kaido thus far. Overall, I talked about Kaido earlier in the stream. I'm really, really liking Kaido as a villain. I think he's on track to be my favorite villain in the series. I think that Kaido's got the most potentially sort of relatable track he had as a pirate that we can understand, but obviously it's going to be sharply diverging from what Luffy, from like the philosophy that Luffy comes away with, right? There's going to be more that we have to learn about Kaido's philosophy, his exact motivations right now, because right now there's like several things we could say that he wants, right? We could say he wants to be Joy Boy. We could say that he wants to be Pirate King. We could say that he wants to die a glorious death. We could say he wants a great battle. There's so many things that pieces of who Kaido is and what he really wants that need to kind of come together in a flashback that I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. Bunfagum says, Kaido first appear, island supported by balloons. Yes. Oh, are you saying so similarity to the lanterns? That's interesting. Good lord. This was a bad idea. Doing a stream when spoilers are out. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. You think Perona would not? No, Perona would never fuck Brook. She likes things that are cute, right? She likes Kumashi, right? Not in that way, but I don't think that Perona would not go for some skeleton. That stuff doesn't fit what she likes her whole environment and things around her to be cute. Thomas Kaz says, imagine getting pleasure by spoiling a story in a random YouTube live stream. I agree. That is messed up. Kakashi Snitch 9 says, can't wait to see Leonardo DiCaprio playing Mihawk in the live-action Netflix series. Leonardo DiCaprio playing Mihawk? That's not... that's not happening. It's literally not a thing. Okay, let's try slow mode again. How to do YouTube slow mode. I need some images. I need visual images that show me where to point and click. Because I'm not seeing anything here. Kaido wants to die in battle as per Viking mythology, says Drenigan. Yeah, maybe. We need to learn more about him. Indy51 says, Perona simps for Zoro already. Yeah, I mean, maybe. If you want a headcanon that they did something there, then sure. I'm really trying to figure out the slow mode thing. Silence says Brook kind of cute, though. Yet, from our perspective, we read about him on, like, a piece of paper. Or watch him on, in this colorful animated world. Randy says never would happen. Talking about Perona and Brook or Perona and Zoro? Let's figure out slow mode. Okay, so I'm looking up something that says how to disable slow mode on my settings. If I figure that out, I'll probably be able to reverse engineer how to activate slow mode on your settings. This isn't helpful. Christopher Lee says, Christopher Lee himself, what will the long-term implications be of CP0 interfering in the Kaido-Luffy fight? So for a long time, I was really wondering what's going to happen with the CP0 situation. I am going with the short-term explanation that Oda needed some outside interference for the Kaido fight. He figured that it would make less sense for someone from Kaido's crew to do it. More sense for someone outside Kaido's crew to do it. Yeah. Matthew L says, Morge, you're in your 20s, question mark. That is an insulting question. Why would you ask that? What? You think I'm in my 30s? I am a ripe 26. Okay? There's no question You think I'm in my 30s? I'm not in my 30s, all right? I don't even look close to my 30s, all right? I'd feel less insulted if you. I choose to believe that you thought I was like 19 or something like that, possibly. And you politely asked, hey, are you in your 20s? Yes. Andrew says Morge in his 30s, bro. Fuck you. What the fuck? I'm not in my 30s. I do not look close to 30. I could pass for 22 easy. Fuck, I could pass for 19 easy. This might sound weird, but if you drop me off at a high school with like a backpack and stuff, I could walk around all day and people would just think I'm another student. That's a guarantee. That's a that's a mortgage guarantee. How dare you ask if I'm about 20s as though that's a question to be asked? What an insulting question. Forget the spoilers. That's the most bad-worthy thing I've ever seen. Ivan back from the card shop says, Big Mom would if she could have children with him. Big Mom did have interest in Brooke. Prod WHXTHXXD says click slow mode button. Oh, if only it were that easy. I definitely see a slow mode button right in front of me that I'm not clicking. Leo is me. Randy, you can't be behind me. Leo is Mihawk. It's not even the right hair color. It's not even the right hair color. Bryn says, I thought you were 17. I appreciate that. Joy Chowdhury says, Mr. Morge older than Zanisha. Thanks. Thomas Kaz says, Christopher Lee says, what will the long-term... No, we covered this. Chino Wong says, Morge 26 but sounds 30s. All right, we're done with... I'm not reading these anymore. Crow Stray God says, which crew is most dangerous even without their captain? I thought pre-time skip Whitebeard pirates were really stacked before Teach screwed things up. I would go with... I mean... We could speculate all day about Shanks, right? Shanks and his crew. I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say maybe Shanks and his crew. I think Big Mom's crew might have the most depth, right? Big Mom's crew might have the most depth. Just because, I mean, there's so many kids that she has. So Big Mom's crew might have the most depth. Whitebeard might have the most quality. You know, I still personally think that the Whitebeard commanders were the most impressive. And, I mean, even today we still have, like... you know, Izzo, like, doing well against CP0, who just fucked up X Drake. So that, you know, that goes to show a lot. Like, if you want to think about it a certain way, like, X Drake was one of Kaido's Toby Roppo, right? And arguably, very possibly one of the strongest, if not the strongest Toby Roppo. Izzo was not necessarily, I'm not going to say, like, Izzo's, like, one of Whitebeard's like weakest commanders or something like that, but he was not, you know, it's not like he's Marco or Jozu or Ace or Vista. He wasn't really one of the highlighted commanders. So even one of Whitebeard's general commanders, right, like commanders like in the 6th through 16 range, I know they're not ordered by number or whatever. I'm just saying like the commanders less highlighted over the course of the war, someone like Izzo, seems just as good, if not better than, like, let's say a Toby Roppo like X Drake. You know, and obviously we don't get to see a lot of what happened or how it played out, but it's just I think that Whitebeard's crew might have had the most quality to it. I think Big Mom's crew perhaps has the most depth, and I'll leave it at that. And Shanks' crew, the outlier, the mystery piece, we don't know. We'll find out when we find out. Not a bad guess that maybe his is the strongest crew. I see that the guesses for for how old I am are now leaking into the 50s. That's always nice to see. Bill says last stream you talked about the devil's cabbage. God, okay. Does that imply that there is a different source of powers in One Piece, the devil's vegetable? If so, where does the cabbage rank in the devil's food pyramid? Cabbage ranks at the very top. They don't have any of that in the One Piece world. They only have the devil's fruits. Devil's vegetable doesn't exist. More just from the Void Century. Randy Troy says, wait, no, I'm saying Leo as Mihawk would never happen. I don't want that at all. Whoever brought that up was being ridiculous. Agreed. Leonardo. When the One Piece live action was announced, it was like everybody's throwing their absolute dream picks out there. I'm just like, what do we do? This is not. Maybe we get, at best, we get like one sort of well-known celebrity to play a peripheral figure, right? Maybe one of the more important figures in the world or something like that, but not necessarily someone that'll be regularly part of the series, right? At least that's early on. Maybe as the series takes off, potentially you get more, you get more of that. But at the same time, do you really want, like, how much do you really want that? I mean, like, even look at a series like Game of Thrones. Most of like almost all the major, even as the series continued to progress, it's not like they're like, okay, we need to add more celebrities and famous actors into playing these roles, right? I generally think it's better if you're not looking at a character and being like, oh, I'm looking at fucking, Leonardo DiCaprio, right? You want to be like, okay, I'm looking at, this is finally Shanks brought to life in the live action, right? You don't want to be, I don't think you necessarily want the star power being forced into the One Piece universe because it's just, it takes away from it a little bit, in my opinion. Mr. Ward's Big Brain Theories. What a great name. If Luffy isn't rubber, we better get a darn good explanation of how this man tanked all of NL's attacks, lol. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Oda has not forgotten about that. That's a very, 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 very important point to the story. Ivan back from the card shop says, do you think the power scaling's kind of ruined if the raid doesn't fail? The best Beast Pirates and Big Mom failed way too easily if it doesn't happen. I mean, I'm not going to push that as like one of the main reasons necessarily, but I do think that it would be nice if, the first time we saw the Beast Pirates in action, literally the first time we see the Beast Pirates isn't them losing necessarily, because essentially what happened is we were introduced to all of the Toby Roppo, and then they just lose, and that's pretty much it. And then like we see King fight for the first time, and then he loses, and see Queen. No, we saw Queen fight back in Udon. I think it's partly just that the Beast Pirates have generally been getting fucked up from start to finish, right? Like, I'm not even going to talk about Jack, right? But Toby Roppo, first time we see, it's like page 1. Okay, Sanji's fucking him up. Queen, first time we see, it's like, okay, Big Mom. Like, there's nothing. Obviously, Sanji should fuck up page 1. Obviously, Big Mom should fuck up Queen. But it's kind of like we're meeting the Beast Pirates just to see them get fucked up. It's kind of like how it's been going. Sabri Baxley, thanks a lot, appreciate it. Granov Zedin says, hey Mord, you shouldn't go on Twitter till Friday. I mean, I'm going to be extra careful. I saw the baby spoilers that already came out. Right? So more spoilers obviously coming. I'll be avoiding those. TCB already came in and said that the biggest thing has not yet been spoiled. So still haven't seen the biggest thing. Thomas Cass says, when they had him captured, why didn't the world government force feed Kaido a second devil fruit in order to kill him? Is there a plot hole or is there a reason? I like to imagine that we'll get more details on Kaido and all of the world government's attempts to kill him when the time comes, as well as like the claim that if you eat 2 devil fruits, you die. Because that's something up till now that has not been necessarily confirmed. Skylar H says, hey Morge, how's your golf game? I've tried going golfing once, and not actually like golfing. I just went to one of those the ranges where you can just hit it out, right? Like, because I have a friend who knows how to golf well and stuff, at least somewhat. And he took a few of us to go try out, just hitting things, right? I wasn't good at it, but it it was also my first try. You kind of get somewhat better, like. You're not aiming for anything there. You're just trying to hit it far, and in a certain direction. So I kind of got the hang of it more as it went along. But at the same time, I was like, I don't really see the appeal of this. I've liked mini golfing, if that helps. I think I'm good at mini golfing. I don't like vegetables, Chinho Wong. Chinho Wong asking if I like vegetables. I'm not a vegetable guy. To this day, I try not to eat vegetables. But I do order sweet green for dinner. Why? Because I'm trying to be healthy. Even though I don't like vegetables, I will eat them because I'm an adult. Someone says Morge's crocus. Nerve AMV Maker says, I feel like this has to be Luffy's last defeat. If he were to get back up from this only the beaten again, it would just be comedic at that point. But Luffy wasn't really beaten here, right? If it plays out like a Flampe situation, it's not like Luffy really lost to Katakuri right there. Gia Studio says, I think Brook's death is never an apology quote may ring true for a drunk Kaido. Like he wants to make up for past mistakes and sees death as a way to atone. I would love that. I mean, again, we talk about so many times how Thriller Bark is a... wait a second. Oh, man, I'm stupid. All right, I like when I have like realizations just talking through things, right? So I dropped that whole video. I think this is a little interesting, okay? So I dropped that whole video talking about... geez, I'm stupid. Okay, hold on. I dropped that whole video talking about death in Wano, the analysis of death in Wano. Not necessarily saying that characters have to die in Wano or whatever, but like just how much of a role it's played throughout the arc, right? And how much there's been references, how it does have, it clearly is going to have some meaning in this arc. Whether it's something like nobody's going to die because blah, 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 or like characters realizing they don't have to die, whatever, right? Kaido, his whole conflict with death, that has to be dealt with. But that is obviously a big discussion in Wano, right? And you can go watch that video if you don't believe me, but death does seem to be being highlighted quite a bit as an important theme in Wano, right? Wano, we talked so much about how so much of it was foreshadowed back in Thriller Bark. Thriller Bark was so heavily an arc about death, right? More with the zombies, right? Brook obviously is the main feature of that. I need to go back and take a look at Thriller Bark again because that was the first arc that really did focus heavily on death and how you can approach like coping with death, right? So Brook's stance is obviously the most powerful. Death is not an apology, so like a promise made from even beyond the grave, etc. And then Moria is kind of taking the total opposite direction with he wants this undead crew to just use as tools, right? Because he's still wallowing in the misery over the loss of his crew. Brook, the way that Brook went about, handling the loss of his crew, right? And basically clinging on to like, well, I still have one Nakama left, and I'm going to find him. Death is not an apology, etc. Versus Moria, who lost his whole crew and basically ended up wallowing in misery and becoming a shadow of his former self for so long. Yeah, it's really interesting that Thriller Bark was such an important arc. Like, that was the One Piece arc that focused a lot on death, among other things. And it seems like Wano is about to do so again. Yeah, that's interesting. And, like, again, Thriller Bark, it's not like anybody died. You don't need to have characters die for the arc to focus on the theme of death. So it's not like I'm trying to say, like this can be independent of things going wrong for the Alliance. But that's interesting. That's, I think I need to look at Thriller Bark again, but I think that's interesting how that connects how Oda was foreshadowing a lot of the themes of Wano, even back in Thriller Bark. That's one aspect of it, right? I've already talked a lot about, in my first Wano analysis, how many themes from earlier arcs, particularly Enies Lobby, Thriller Bark, and Marineford, are coming into play in Wano. But that is an aspect of Thriller Bark I did not think about playing a big deal in Wano. So I'm going to look into that again. Sorry, catching up. Give me a second. Sorry. Shit, I got a lot to catch up on. All right. Jordan Allen says, Mr. Morge, is there a Mrs. Morge? No. And will you keep going with Movie Morge? And will you see the Batman? So Movie Morge, I want to keep going with it, but I need more time for... I have to hit a stretch where I know I'll be able to continually put out videos for the foreseeable future, because I don't want to do it sporadically. I will see the Batman, since I'm seeing so many good things about it, but I wasn't that interested in watching it initially. Nathan H says, with Luffy seemingly being defeated after last chapter, how many more chapters do you believe would be needed for a raid to fail in a satisfying way? Here's how I see it. I might even talk about it. I don't know if it's worth talking about in a video or whatever, but if you look at the raid so far, I think it looks pretty clear as though Oda seems to be separating things into batches of like tens, if that makes sense. So usually like how do I say this? By around chapter what, like you can kind of segment out the whole raid into tens. Okay, so like chapter 1000 was when they arrive on the roof, right? Chapter 1010, that's when Advanced Conqueror's Haki comes out. Everybody clears out. It's just Luffy and Kaido, right? Chapter 1020, by that point, all of the Toby Roppo fights are pretty much done. I think that's 1021. But basically, by around chapter 1020, all the Toby Roppo fights are done. Then by chapter 1030, all of the final fights are set up, right? So that's the Zoro fight, Sanji fight, Kid and Law fight, and Luffy's fight, right? So by chapter 1030, all the final fights are set up. Then by chapter 1040, Big Mom is defeated, King is defeated, Queen is defeated, Jack is defeated, all of the big bad guys are taken. So now we're in the 1040 to 1050 range. I think that's like the Luffy versus Kaido range. So, maybe it's very coincidental or something like that, but at least when I look back through the raid, it does look like Oda kind of like you can kind of see like, okay, 1010 to about 1021, like 1010 to about 1020, this was the time for the Toby Roppo fights. Then this next stretch of 1020 to 1030, it's like setting up the next batch of matches. Then 1030 to 1040 is all of the important matches. Then it looks like 1040 to 1050, it's probably set to be Luffy versus Kaido. So, we'll see how, I imagine Kaido's flashback fits in there in some way. At least that's how I'm looking at it right now. Like, you can go back and make your own conclusions or whatever, but like, 990 to 1000 was the Scabbards fighting Kaido, that period, and Luffy trying to get to the roof. 1000 to 1010, that was Kaido and Big Mom versus the Supernovas, till eventually then 1010 it became just Luffy versus Kaido, and the Toby Roppo fights were happening downstairs. You get what I'm saying? Like, it seems as though Onigashima is like a little bit, I'm not saying like exact tens, but it does seem like Oda's trying to wrap certain things up, certain sections of the battle up by certain chapter milestones, like this done by 1020, this done by 1030, this done by 1040, and then maybe Luffy versus Kaido, conclusion to that 1050. I don't know. Take a look. You guys come to your own conclusions. That's what it looks like to me. Sean Easton says, due to Ukraine, should super chats be adjusted for inflation? I don't know about that. I don't know what you mean by that necessarily. Super chat should be adjusted for inflation. I literally don't know what you mean by that. Mark Ross says, end of One Piece is children playing pirate games. I don't know what that means either. Is children playing pirate games? Is that like a reference to the Little Pirate Games chapter? I don't fully understand what you mean by that. Power Ranger says, so what happens if Kaido ate Luffy instead of doing his Boro Breath? Would he just die? I mean, I think Luffy would beat him up from the inside, in my opinion. Babtron says, Morge and Katakuri, 50-year-olds cosplaying young adults. Hashtag Bab. What am I cosplaying? What am I cosplaying as? Chino Wong says, Pema, Morge loves burgers. I do love burgers. I love burgers quite a bit. Burgers are probably my favorite food. Phantom Greyfire finally arrived. It's been hell here, guys. None of us could figure out how to do slow mode. It's just been hell. Thanks for Mod showing up as the cavalry. He's here, I'm free, says Anuj Agrawal. Yeah, no Batman spoilers either. Everyone's fighting for their lives here. Great Kate says Morge still in his youthful 130s. Can someone unpack the inflation thing for me? Because maybe we move on past that. I'm just going to move on past that. Okay. So we're good. Yeah, Zoro bailed him out that time. All right, guys. I think chat seems to have calmed down a little bit, so I think we're in the clear. Okay, I missed one from Nathan. With Luffy seemingly being defeated after last chapter, how many more chapters do you believe? No, we covered Nathan's. Shoot, we're that far behind? The I envy you line is my favorite part of 1042, says Randy. Definitely implies that Dripper Scarfino, I saw Randy, you labeled him that on Twitter, and the rest of CP0 physically cannot. Sorry, I just scrolled a little bit. Fuck. Where's the rest of this comment? Physically cannot disobey. Hypes up the world government. CP0 could be slaves. It depends, like, how literal that is. It depends how literal that is versus, like, how much it's like I just feel boxed into what I have to do. Because you could argue that Aokiji as well, right? Back when Aokiji and Saul essentially had their standoff, right? Aokiji at that point as well felt like not necessarily his hands are tied, but he was in the mode of like, I'm just going to do what I'm told to do, essentially. Don't know how much that guarantees CP0 slaves, but it's like an interesting idea. Pete Garcia says, hey Morge, been meaning to ask, when the raid finally fails, how will you celebrate? Post a special video, question mark? Host a victory stream, question mark? Best not to start thinking about, look, real winners don't think about, Paper says, I think it's just a joke. Gotcha. All right. We'll leave that one alone for now. Yeah, winners don't think about how they're going to celebrate winning. That's just, you don't do that. That's the one-way ticket to defeat. Coincidentally, that's exactly what the Straw Hat Pirates were doing as they rolled up to Onigashima. They were literally party planning what they're going to do once they beat Kaido and Big Mom. When do they do that? They literally never do that. They're so fucked. Brandon King says, what if Ace became a Marine to not be like his dad? I don't think that fits Ace's he obviously doesn't want to be like Roger, but it's not like he wants to shoehorn himself more into a box by being a Marine. He wants to kind of escape all that, right? And so he just wanted to really, really just do his own thing. James LeBock says, in before CP0 is unmasked, revealing him to have been Tama's teacup the whole time. The ultimate plot twist. Thomas Cass says, it's the next stream the Straw Hats fight tier list or Film Z. All right, we're going to do this. Next break week, we're going to do Film Z. Next break week, we're going to do Film Z. I'm going to type it in the chat to make it, that way it becomes law. Next break week, we do Film Z. I typed it in the chat, so now it's set into stone, right? So now it has to happen. Morge called Pirate Hero MVP mod while he's not here. I didn't say Pirate Hero is MVP, but you got to say, like, look, Phantom Greyfire, Pirate Hero, these guys, they hold things down. Also, Phantom Greyfire is responsible for all the excellent timestamps and stream info that you guys get to see at the, when the VODs and such are posted. Princess Taco says, why you keep disappointing? Should I leave again? I have honestly no idea what I did, Princess Taco, but I apologize. Film Z, we are going to do it. No, okay, Jinho Wong says, Morge for real, or are you trolling us with Film Z? No, there's certain things I do not troll about, all right? That is things such as the plush goals. If I said a plush goal is we watch Film Z, that means we're going to get Film Z. I have probably unintentionally lied about when we're going to watch Film Z, but it's always been, how do I say this? I guess weighing on my conscience, weighing on my conscience. I know I have to do it, right? I know I have to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a man of my word. The Bollywood dance falls into a totally different category because I already did that one. Joey Jojo says there's a break next week. Oh, fuck. There's a break next week? There's a break next week? You sure there's a break next week? I don't remember seeing that when I got spoiled. You sure there's a break next week? I didn't mean a... Shit. Fuck. Am I gonna have to watch Film Z? Am I gonna have to ruin my weekend by taking out 2 hours of my life to watch Film Z? Shit. And doing a mod tier list? It's 3 hours of my life. Fuck. I didn't know it was around the corner. I thought break week might be... I thought it was at least 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away is very, very different from next weekend. I really gotta watch Film Z next week. What have I done? Maybe I can just delete that comment that I typed up here. If I delete it, it's like I never said it, huh? Let me let me delete this comment. Fuck. I don't think I can delete it. Oh, I can remove it, or I could pin it. I'll just leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. You guys won't even remember. No, I'll do Film Z, I guess. Aw, man. I don't want to do Film Z. Leo Town says, do another poll to see who is stoned. Whenever I see your stream, I'm always coincidentally rolling one up. Always inadvertently watching stoned. Sadly, wouldn't let me donate 420. I'm just going to assume it's always a solid 40%. I'll just assume it's always a solid 40%. I think that's right. Can't bring me the best subscriber. Oh, what's up? It's been a bit. Good day, everyone. Just got off work. Is Mr. Morge bullying people again? No, the opposite. They're making me watch Film Z, which I never wanted to do. I said I'd do it in the next break week, which they didn't tell me was next week. Black Leg says, we still waiting for that young Melee stream, dog. I think I have to play Melee a bit more because I'm on and off of it. I want to play for like a couple weeks or something like that straight, just so I feel good about how I'm playing, so I don't feel embarrassed if I'm streaming Melee. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to play super rusty and stuff. Jordan Allen says, Burger Comrade, what's your favorite burger place? I live in Korea, and there's an awesome burger place here I'll likely be going to after work today. I'm not going to say my favorite burger place just because I don't want to expose where I live. I can say where it was back when I lived in Baltimore. I loved Abby's Burger Bistro. I used to go to Abby's Burger Bistro all the time, and there were 2 Abby's Burger Bistros, and I took the time to try both of them frequently and discovered which one I preferred. Yeah, Abby's Burger Bistro in Baltimore is very good, in my opinion. They do all sorts of. If you're in Baltimore, try it. They do this. They've got all sorts of different animal meats that you can try. You can try bison. You can try elk. You can try camel. Red deer. They've got all sorts of random different meats that you wouldn't expect that you can just try. Spoilers, beef is the best at the end of the day. Turns out we got it right with that one. There's a reason that we farm cows and not bison or elk, and that's not because they're rarer, but those things are actually just less tasty than beef because beef is fatty and juicy and all that. That being said, you could get into a whole different conversation of like how we raise how we treat cows and stuff that honestly makes me not want to keep eating it. It's probably one of the worst things because I am sickened by how we get the meat. I mean, I'm not saying anything new here, you know what I mean? But like, there have been times that I'm like, maybe I should just never eat meat again. And then there's other times I'm just like, I'm so weak and I love it so much. But yeah, if you want an answer for what the tastiest meat in the world is, it's actually just beef. Abby's Burger Bistro will clear that right up for you. You can try every other burger they have. And you'll quickly realize that that just straight up Coby beef, there's nothing better. Paper says, Film Z isn't good, don't watch. I've heard so many good things about Film Z. And from the opening, I watched like the first 2 minutes last time because we had a Film Z attempt watch stream, right? And I thought that the first 2 minutes kind of looked good. Marmar says, I should have known it was next week. Here's the thing. I saw the 1043 spoilers that were going around on Twitter, right? In that, I don't remember seeing break next week. So I kind of just assumed that there's no, there's not a break because it wasn't mentioned there. So, you know. Yeah, I've heard things that Film Z are good. Orani likes Film Z. That's another vote of approval. No, I'm sure that Film Z is good. It's just like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch One Piece fan fiction. That's just not my thing. I just don't want to watch 2 hours of One Piece fan fiction. It might be good. It might be good, but I just don't feel like it. But I'll do it for you guys because you guys are making me. Bison greater than beef? I don't think so. Dred Scott says, oh, fuck. What did Dred Scott say? Dred Scott says bison is way better than beef. You're tripping. No, then it's not. It's chewy. It's like it's yeah. It's not. It's just not as soft and fatty and delicious. Like the closer you go to bison and stuff like it's more lean meat, right? Like we pick beef because the cows are perfect for it. Ivan back from the card shop says Mr. Florge lives in Florida. He's just embarrassed. I tell you this, I don't live in Florida. Paper says first 2 minutes, lol. Yeah, it's kind of first 2 minutes. Let me describe it for you. So the first 2 minutes of Film Z, there's like, I think it's like waves and bubbles or some shit, and some song is being sung in the background. And that's pretty much it. I know nothing else about Film Z. I mean, I do, because I know like Zephyr, I know Kizaru, I think fights him. I think I know like a lot of the action scenes from Film Z, actually. Thomas Cass says, Mord, you can always do a fight tier list instead. The fight tier list will always happen at some point. I think that is that the one I have up next? The Strats fight tier list? I think I got that one up next. But films, you know what? I think Film Z I'll do on a Saturday or something like that. Maybe Saturday morning. And then the fights tier list I'll do Monday as usual. Sebastian Gutierrez says, what's your favorite Shanks theory? Favorite Shanks theory, it's a well-known one. You all probably know this, that he's the son of rocks. I think that it's a really good theory, and I kind of just believe it. Oh, TCB said it's a break next week. Yeah, it makes sense. We were due for a break. I know, like, obviously I do this for a living. I know that, at least part of my living, right? I know that every 3 chapters we then get a break, but sometimes Oda does go for 4 straight. It's true. Sometimes he does just go for 4 straight. Phantom Greyfire says, Morge, I hope you have the donations tab open. I'm off duty. Otherwise, RIP Miss Supers. No, people have been really, really good about it. People have been, by people I mean the other mods, Anuj, etc. Everyone's been on top of it, so we're all good. Princess Taco says, Stampede is fan service. Maybe. I haven't seen that either. Seen the fights from Stampede a little bit. I enjoyed those. The break is after 10:43, says okay. His was deleted. People are asking for the waifu tier list. The waifu tier list will happen at an undisclosed time for an undisclosed goal. It'll have to be like something huge. Like, I want to jump from like 200 to 300k subs or something like that. Jao Victor says, there's a really creepy One Piece movie, but I don't remember what it is. It's probably Baron Matsuri's Island, right? Yeah, Studio, that's the one I've seen. Yeah, Studio says, was hoping that the Toby Roppo would come back to add to the theme of rebirth, like Zeus Reborn as Nami's staff, Marco the Phoenix, the lively fire festival celebrating death. Hell, Brook is living bones. Yeah, I mean, I think the Toby Roppo will come back, so those are good points. Whoa. Message was deleted by Princess Taco. But I think those are good points. I do hope the Toby Roppo come back. First name, last name says, Momo's fruit is suspicious. We are told that Vegapunk considered it imperfect, but everything we've seen so far suggests it's a perfect replica. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like a perfect replica. I don't know what the imperfection that supposedly is there is mentioned, but maybe it was assumed to be imperfect, but something that we've seen, like maybe Momonosuke was just the perfect user of it or something along those lines. I don't really know why it's considered imperfect, though, because you're right, it does seem to do everything that Kaido's fruit does. We have not, well, that's not true. We have not seen Momonosuke manipulate the weather or anything like that. We have not seen Momonosuke really do much besides the flame clouds, so we have to see. Diego C., a madman, says, I ship Moria times Nami. There's a One Piece, if you can think of any random possible One Piece pairing, there's somebody out there who who's pitched it. All the combinations have probably been thought of by fans at this point. You know Geo on Twitter? You guys know Geo on Twitter? I loved seeing for so long the random kid and this was a guy on Twitter who would ran like a well-known One Piece Twitter account that would frequently push the Kid and Nami agenda, and I think the latest chapter basically showed that Nami doesn't even know Kid's name, which is hilarious. Chinho Wong says, redo a movie One Piece tier list after you watch it all again. I did do a One Piece movie tier list. I forgot I did a One Piece movies tier list. I should just look at that and be able to tell what the best movies are. I forgot we already did this. We did a One Piece movies tier list. Baron Matsuri is the one that I saw. Yeah. Yeah, Bryn, that was the one that I saw, so I enjoyed that. Mori as an underrated villain, says Zach M. I don't know if he's underrated. It's kind of just like he's just sandwiched there between Enies Lobby and Marineford, and he's not. He gives them some trouble and some shenanigans, but he's not even the scariest villain in his arc. That's Kuma. I wouldn't say he's underrated. Just he was not even built from the beginning to necessarily be one of their more impactful villains. He served a purpose and an arc, etc. Anuj Agrawal points out, I've been suffering well before you and the Pirate Hero or even mods. Throwback to Sunday streams. Oh, no. I have a feeling the mods tier list is going to be very heated. Now I'm having second thoughts about it. I think I have to put everyone in S. That's not true. There's some people that definitely do. If I see Cushion McCurdy there or something like that, bottom. There's some easy bottom tiered mods. Any YouTubers that show up, if Evil shows up, Randy, Brago show up, immediate bottom tier. I guarantee they did no modding in the time that they were here. Just flexing those blue wrenches for nothing. Coco says, do you think Onigashima will fall into the hole Law made, or Luffy will awaken his fruit and do some crazy rubber shit? So I just don't believe in the idea that Onigashima's falling into the hole that Law made. I think no matter how you see the raid playing out, if you think that the raid's going to succeed, fail, etc., I don't see Onigashima falling into that hole because it's just so why the climax of the arc is so much more powerful with Onigashima above the Flower Capital, and even if Onigashima landed in the hole, it's just weird and awkward. There's just so Wano ends with Onigashima just being on Wano, but just randomly placed somewhere in the country, kind of close to the Flower Capital. It's just some weird imagery. It doesn't really make sense or anything for the country. It's not really symbolic in any way. So whatever happens with Onigashima, I expect something a little more, significant. And also, I would say that I doubt Law's hole. Law didn't make an island-sized hole. I don't know why that was ever. I never got the sense that Law made a hole the size of an island in Wano. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, early Sunday streams, says Chinho Wong. I forgot I used to do Sunday streams. And I don't know why. Yeah, Sunday streams were a bad idea from the start, just because on Sunday streams made sense because it was kind of everybody has the day off, they can watch, etc. But at the same time, I realized I didn't as much want to do the stream. I didn't want to do the streams necessarily on Sundays, because just then whatever's happening in the weekend can potentially conflict, right? It's much easier to have a scheduled weekday. This is the perfect day. My video comes out tomorrow, right? Video for the week comes out tomorrow. Everybody's still somewhat high off of the chapter. I think Mondays are the perfect day for the streams. You kick the week off with a Monday stream. Drennigan says, YouTuber tier list. You trying to make a YouTuber war? I'm never doing that. I know Sensei a while back, he made a One Piece YouTubers tier list, but he did it so nicely because he was just he put everybody in the category pretty much of either I fuck with this person or I don't really know much about this person. So, but he didn't rate anybody badly. It was just good, I like you, or I don't really know you. And then that was just his whole tier list, basically. Apolina Top Hat says, Morge, are you going to stream Film Z on YouTube or Twitch? I think I'm going to stream it on Twitch. Because last time, I think it's hard to do it on... No, if I do it on YouTube, I think I get my whole channel shut down or some shit. So I think it's got to be on Twitch. I care nothing for my Twitch. The Twitch could be deleted. I wouldn't care. Insatiable Hunger says, Luffy beats Kaido. Moria, enraged, begins to train. I don't know if Moria would try and get the revenge run back for Kaido. Chaos Learlin says, how can a hole in Onigashima fit Onigashima inside it? I assume that what they're saying is that the hole in the ground of Wano is much bigger than the hole in Onigashima itself. You know, like, so the full impact hit the ground of Wano, I guess, or resonated down. Super Gamification, thanks a lot. Morge, I haven't made it to the stream in a while. Yeah, thanks, I missed you. Here's a token of my appreciation. Token accepted, appreciated. Keep up the great work, you charming chocolate daydream. That's a great way to end it. Thanks. The mod, Jordan Taylor says, the mod war is the mods versus Morge. Yeah, that's more what it's like. Chin Wong says, Morge, you have a Twitch account? Share here, please, lol. I think it's just Mr. Morge. Mr. Morgeman Twitch. Let's see. Last time yeah. It's just twitch.tv/Mr. Morgeman. That's all it is. It's very easy to find. Wait, am I streaming right now on this? No, I'm not. I was loading it up. It looked like I was streaming something. Like, am I accidentally double streaming this? Last time, for those of you who were not here, the Film Z stream ended in failure purely because I was trying to double stream or something like that, or I was trying to double stream. I wanted it to stream on YouTube and Twitch or something. Then I realized I shouldn't. It's complicated. Don't worry about it. It didn't work well. Terry doing the work says, Morge, are you drinking anti-age water because you don't look like the fact that you're 65? Because you don't like the fact that you're 65. Angry Shadow says, Morge, do you have another job outside of YouTube? Yeah, and the continuous split for me is basically like I could grow the YouTube more if I went full YouTube, but then the other if I worked a normal job, I would probably have quit long ago and just done YouTube. But the other thing that I focus on is basically an online business that I do own. I'm one of 3 owners of. So it's just a weird spot where I'm trying it's just a weird spot because I'm trying to basically get detached enough from that I'm not having to work, because that takes up more hours of my week at the moment. And that is, frankly, the thing that I'm focused more of my time and efforts on scaling. But if I could, it's so hard to really get out of doing that, doing the actual, not being in the business as much. But if I'm able to do that, then I would be able to spend a lot more time on YouTube. DKN says, did you watch or see the video Liam from Grand Line Review did on you? Is this a new one or is this the old one? If he did a new one, I've not seen it. If it's the old one that he did, I think I was the first YouTuber he did a video on. So I saw that one, the one that he, the cult one. So I talked to him about that, and he was like, well, the cult, that's just a word, it's for clicks and stuff. So it's like, okay. Still a very loose use of the word or whatever, but I talked about that one. I saw that one. I thought he was actually for the record, I thought he was very fair in that video. Like, it wasn't like a mean or harsh video or anything like that. He's actually much more, I think, polite in that video, I guess, than I would have expected, because I know he does not believe in the raid failing whatsoever. So, and he didn't attack any of that in the video. It was just talking about, I guess, the phenomenon that's happened surrounding it. So it was a pretty detached and really not a very fair, I guess, overall take on it, basically. But if he's made another video since then, I've not seen that. Leo Townsend says, Luffy will see wishes, which will in turn awaken Gear 5. We'll see wishes. Wishes. I don't know what that means. What do you mean he'll see wishes? Oh, the lantern wishes. I don't know if that's like a strong enough, like Luffy seeing the lanterns from the people of Wano being the emotional instigator for him to go Gear 5. That doesn't seem that strong in my opinion. It's like, oh my god, lanterns. People writing wishes. I have to fight for Wano now. I don't know about that. Keenan, thanks a lot. Being in and out of the stream, I can appreciate the idea that Sanji is a ladies' man before he joins the crew, and the lack of frequent interaction with women that aren't Nami and Robin is why he gets nosebleeds. Lol. Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know, Sanji was like absolutely killing it before he joined the Straw Hats, but he was nowhere near as bad as he is now. You know. Babtron says, ever thought of making a TikTok to post clips? Hashtag Bab. Look, man, I don't understand TikTok. I'm honestly scared of it. I have no idea. Like, people randomly tell me certain things like, Morge, somebody took this and put it on TikTok, like, took an idea of yours and put it on TikTok. Apparently JD Legend is a TikTok star or something on accident because somebody just copied his laughs video or something like that, or like pulled something from him and used it for TikTok. So TikTok, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Last year, when I was still living in Baltimore, I had 2 roommates. One of my roommates, she's basically, I guess, borderline millennial Zoomer or whatever, right? So she's just old enough that she was, or just young enough that she was hip with the TikTok, basically. So she tried to explain it to me at one point, and she tried to explain, like, yeah, this could be useful. Like, you should know this because you do YouTube and such as a career. So she explained to me some things that I didn't fucking understand. She explained to me, like, oh yeah, on TikTok, somebody fucking explain if this is a real thing. She tried to explain to me that basically, like, on TikTok, they put together, like, a bunch of TikTokers collaborated to make, like, a musical about Ratatouille or something like that. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Like, just the things that were described to me made no sense. I think I've seen TikToks pop up in the form of YouTube Shorts. I understand YouTube Shorts because it's on YouTube. It's very easy for me to understand, but I just don't get. Yeah, I think I'm too scared of TikTok and how it works to ever try and approach it. Kind of like, I guess, kind of like how an old person probably initially reacted to Facebook until old people grew to love Facebook and everybody else dispersed to other social media platforms. I don't use Facebook either, but I just definitely don't use TikTok. Ludwin says, well, Ludwin, Wano is top 3. Thoughts on Wano / Future / Shanks? So general thoughts? I'm excited to see how Act 3 of Wano plays out. Future and Shanks, I think those two go together because I think Elbaf is next, and I do think that Shanks is in Elbaf, and I think that, you know, that was probably the first real video of mine to ever really break out, the Shanks Elbaf video. And I've said this for a long time. I think Elbaf is very Shanks-centric, etc. Emil Diaz says, more, did you see the video Randy Troy did today? You make a cameo. I make a cameo? I want to see the cameo. I'm going to watch the cameo after this. Phantom Greyfire says, today's segment of Boomer Mork. Phantom SSJ says, if you did a TikTok Bollywood dance, you would go viral. Yeah, but here's the thing. I think there's no value to going viral on TikTok, because here's what I have researched, okay? You don't really get anything off of being a TikTok star. You don't really get it. Like, there's nothing you go viral on TikTok, like, on YouTube, you can grow a career on YouTube. Not to say TikTok stars don't have, like, obviously big TikTok stars, I'm sure, with sponsorships, etc., huge. But I'm saying, like, TikTok, as far as I understand, there's not really, like, ad revenue, things like that. Like, it's just a different, like, as far as I understand, TikTok, for most people, it's a platform where you can go viral more easily than something like YouTube, maybe. but you don't gain anything off of it. So I just don't know what the purpose would be other than to maybe like me doing things on TikTok, maybe attract more people to the channel. That's a thing. John says, any idea as to what role Coby will play later? I've always said this. I think that Coby, the role that he plays in the series, is usually basically, um, it's moments where he essentially has to stand up for something being right, making a stand basically against some authority figure that he fears, and being able to make a difference in some way, right? So I think like Coby and Alvida heavily mirrors the Coby Akainu scene. Like they're straight up mirrors of each other. And in the first one, Kobe's rewarded for his courage with Luffy stepping in and saving him from Alvida. And with Coby Akainu, Kobe's rewarded with Shanks stepping in and saving him from Akainu. Both very similar scenes. I imagine Kobe's final scene in the series will be something similar, in my opinion. Jordan Taylor says Morge gets 1 million Indian fans overnight. I'll say this. Uh, I have a surprising number of, I guess, Indian fan base, I think. Um, like, I think, yeah, I think it just, I guess because I'm Indian, that appeals to Indian fan base. I have a surprising number of Indian fans. Also, I think relative to other One Piece YouTubers, I probably have more Indian fans, I would guess. Like, percentage-wise, out of my fan base. It also makes me especially sad when I see, like, I get negative comments all the like negative people, like stuff people are saying all the time for like, oh, Morge thinks the raid's gonna fail, etc. Like, then some mean thing, right? I see that all the time. And Morge thinks the raid's gonna fail, ha, blah blah blah, right? See that all the time. Normally, I don't care. If I see it's an Indian person who's saying it, then that hurts. Does that make sense? If I see like an Indian person being like, bro, you think the raid's gonna fail, you're delusional or something like that. If I see that comment from an Indian person, I'm just like, oh, that actually hurts. That's come on, we're supposed to be I'm you're supposed to be in my camp just by default. This is what is this? This is a I feel betrayed anytime I see Indian fans that or like Indian One Piece fans that are you know, uh, coming at me. Saleh says you listen to Indian music. I don't, but like I know old school Bollywood songs because in my childhood, obviously my parents watched quite a bit. So I know from like well, no, I wouldn't say from my perspective, classic like Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Like I know from movies of that era, you know. Yeah, I just feel betrayed. I'm like, this would be like if Jinbei, if Jinbei's reading, you know, if Jinbei's just like reading the news and he finds out that like all the fish bit are hating on him. Indian fans when I talk about loving to eat beef. Let me just tell you guys, if you're in India, I think it's safe for me to say it here. I know you get in all sorts of trouble if you're like a beef eater in India. I'll just say it here from the safety of where I live in America, right? If you're in India and you have not eaten beef, you're missing out. It's so fucking good. Indian food is great. I love Indian food quite a bit. It is a shame, a damn shame that we don't like beef because there's no Indian dishes that have beef in them, right? And I would love to see what an Indian style beef preparation would be. We just don't roll that way. We've done fantastic things with chicken and all sorts of terrible vegetables that would be, you know, inedible without, you know, Indian preparation style. Done fantastic things with that, but we don't roll with beef. It's very sad. Miriam, thanks a lot. I don't know if it's been asked, but do you plan to attend any convention this year now that they finally opened them up? I'm not like a con person. I'm not an anime con person, but I've considered it actually. I've considered it. There's actually a couple that I have in mind just because since I moved, right? So two things, right? Since I moved, I guess trying to make a new group of friends and everything like that. So just judging on interests and stuff like that, I might be headed to a con or something like that. I I don't know. Um, that's personally not my speed, but I've considered it. I might go to an anime con or something like that. Ivan back from the card shop says Indians betrayed you like you betrayed Jinbei. George. I've never seen this one before. George, Jorj. How have I never seen that before? Like you betrayed Jinbei, George. Seen Mork, seen Lorge, I've seen Lork, never seen George. It's so simple. George. Free Wari 4 says, Sup Morge, what do you think of the speculation on Luffy's fruit? What do you want it to be? And if not the Gomu Gomu, then what would you want? Alright, so we all know, we've all seen, right? A bunch of YouTubers today, it seems like, all landed on the Hanuman fruit theory. I've not watched any of their videos. I'm interested in the idea of it being Hanuman, just because Hanuman, I'm Hindu. I'm not Hindu personally, but like I've come from a Hindu background, upbringing, I suppose, loosely Hindu. So I know quite a bit about Hanuman, Hindu mythology. I would love to see how that plays into this. However, I just wanted to fit Luffy as a character. I wanted to not make the fruit like fit Luffy as a character, feel coherent, and like it makes sense with everything we know of the story so far. I just wish it was still rubber. That's all I gotta say. I don't understand why it needs to be something special, but maybe I'll understand when it's explained. Mr. Crescent says, "Why you hate Jinbei? I like him and Luffy's dynamic. I don't hate Jinbei. I don't hate Jinbei anymore. I used to dislike him just because I didn't want another. I didn't want. How do I say this? Like I just didn't want more crewmates being added for the sake of. I felt like Jinbei added very little to the crew's dynamic. I felt like he just took space and dialogue away from other characters. I just didn't like the idea of him joining the Straw Hat crew for many reasons. But at this point, now that it's like I've moved, like I've mentally accepted it, I like he's a Straw Hat now. He's gonna be around. So now I'm able to just more enjoy him as a character. Just look forward to seeing more of him. Um, yeah. Paper says paneer hella good though. Yeah, I think Indians have a great uh general cuisine. Zach Omar says, "Hey guys, don't forget to like the stream." That's right, like the stream. I am probably gonna be calling it in about 5 minutes, but definitely like the stream. Don't forget to like the stream. Also, Morge, what's your favorite Kaido form so far, and why is it flirty drunk? LMAO. I mean, it's flirty drunk was what made me really love the whole Kaido drunk transformations. Before I was just like, um, like this is a thing. This is Oda's way of kind of giving Kaido like a bit of a power up without actually like having him go through awakening just yet. Just have him have different drunk transformations. But after like once he did the flirty drunk thing, and I was like, okay, Oda's really gonna go and just have fun with this. I definitely, I mean, that's the one that stands out the most, right? Justin Holland, what's up, man? Perfect time for Straw Hats versus Kaido before Luffy comes back powerful enough to end Kaido in a more public setting. Agreed. I mean, that's a route, and I wouldn't be unhappy with that route. People don't believe me, but like, as long as we get good, like a strong dramatic segment to this arc, right? Really, really feels like heavy emotional investment from the main characters, etc. Feels like they have to go through something, overcome something character-wise, right? I'd be happy. And if it starts with the Straw Hats having to defend Luffy from Kaido while Luffy has to recover or something like that, cool. I'd be happy with that. Oh shit! Did I open up a whole can of worms with the beef thing? I, I'm sorry about that. I guess all I could say is sorry. That's all I could say. Jordan Taylor says, might as well start eating bald eagle. Look, it's totally different. Bald eagle probably doesn't taste that good. Beef is the best meat in the world. It's so different. Justin Holland. No, we covered you, Justin. This is. I think I opened up a whole can of worms. Lord George goes by many names, says Terry doing the work. Yeah, rubber is the bounce back fruit. It just fits his character. I let's just wait and see. I have no idea. I have a video coming out tomorrow that's actually very interesting. It's not speculation on what the fruit is. It's more of a general discussion of Luffy kind of shaping up to being this, special in many ways that we didn't previously expect. And the idea of destiny, chosen one stuff in One Piece. The fruit is somewhat discussed in it, but no speculation as to what the fruit is. Darren Wyke says, if Luffy is declared loser, what is the next step? If Luffy is declared loser, I mean, it depends on if he gets up or not. That's the thing. Like, I fully expect Luffy to be up and fighting by the time Onigashima, or like at some point when Onigashima is above the Flower Capital. So that's pretty much all I got. Like, I think Luffy would be up and fighting by that point. Coco says, Mo, do you ever watch Gintama? Yes, but only the comedy episodes. I've watched a lot of Gintama comedy. Gintama's the funniest anime that I've seen. I've only watched the comedy episodes. I've not seen the series in full. Greymouse Aziz says, Kaido is hot. Got an interesting taste. All right. I'm going to say no more super chats. I'll do 2 more questions, and then I'm going to call it a stream. Because I think my DoorDash is here. But on the discussion of the eating the bald eagle, you guys know that like our national symbol, like our national bird was almost a turkey, right? It was initially going to be the turkey, which, fuck, what a fucking joke that would have been. We went with the bald eagle, which is like the sickest bird that you can go with. Solidly avoided the turkey, which is like bottom 3 lamest birds you could have picked. But if it had been the turkey, yeah, we would have eaten that shit for Thanksgiving anyway, so would have been similar. Skylar H, you're the last super chat I will answer, but besides that, we're going to leave that. Skylar H says, I'm 26, care for cows, don't have Facebook or TikTok, and of course love One Piece. I hardly know you, but I'm half convinced we'd be friends, lol. Well, Skylar, if those are the criteria that are required to be friends, being boomers, caring for cows, and liking One Piece, I guess that'd pretty much be it. Miriam, thank you. It's so nice seeing 1K viewers, not gonna lie. Glad you got more constant views, Morge. Hope you get more. Thanks. Yeah, doing the consistent streams definitely helped build more of a stream environment. So that was my fault, like learning pains and stuff over time. But now I definitely look forward to doing the streams every week. If I'm being fully honest, 100% honest, streams is my favorite part currently of doing YouTube, by far. Super Gamification, this is the last super chat I'll read. No more super chats after this. After that, I'm going to answer 2 normal questions and then just call it a day. But yeah, streams have definitely become my favorite part. Super Gamification says, you mentioned the giant straw hat in Marijoa being an item that transforms into whatever is a keen threat to the world government. Yes, that is my belief. What do you think about it transforming again after Luffy unlocked Conquerors? Wouldn't it stick with Luffy because it's a straw hat at the moment? I don't think it would necessarily transform again. Night Crescent. See you guys. Yeah, no more super chats, everyone. They won't be answered. Orange says, do you still think the Strats are going to go to the moon? If not, what significance do you think it'll have? I do think that a trip to the moon is in store. I do think a trip to the moon is in store. I do think something related to One Piece, possibly even finding the final answers, could be there. Wamawi says a turkey is the best poultry. I guess. Yeah, you could argue turkey. I think chicken goes with so many things, but chicken on its own is not like that, that good tasting. It's just like we've done it in so many ways, like fried chicken, etc., that I guess I'm more on board with chicken at this point. Chin Ho Wong's referencing the fail streams. Yeah, the fail streams, that was those used to happen. That was a thing. That was definitely a thing. Grey Mouse says, hey, what would you think? This is the last question. What would you think of Act 3 ending and we move on to Act 4 and the act starts with a flashback like Act 3? The thing is, it wouldn't make sense to separate, because the story is not really, you're not really separating, there's no purpose of separating the story into acts in that case, right? From my perspective, if the raid's not going to fail, then it makes sense for Wano to just have 3 acts, right? Because then you have the story nicely separated. You would have Act 1, which is day 1 prologue, right? Essentially a prologue. Act 2, which is, I suppose you could say, setup, right? Setup, focused on internal Wano country, lore, etc. Um, or exposition, right? Introducing the characters, etc., blah, 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 setting the cast. Um, then Act 3 is the battle, right? And the climax. So that's if the raid doesn't fail. It would not make sense to, like, just cut Act 3 into Act 3 and 4 if the raid is going to succeed, because it's just like, why? That's not an act. Like, that's not where you separate an act. Like, that's not what you don't, like, Luffy and Kaido's fight being partway through, then, like, randomly partway through the fight, you just separate that last section and be like, this is Act 4. That doesn't really, like, that's just not how any writer ever uses acts. It's just by definition not an act. Like, an act is a clear, singular movement or section of the story, right? This is all clearly still in the flow of this Onigashima battle, right? In fact, it's all ramping up over time, right? Getting closer and closer to the finale, of Onigashima being above the flower capital, Kaido's henchmen, Big Mom, etc., being knocked off one by one, Kaido battle going on, etc., etc. You wouldn't it's not like we're entering a new phase of the story. It's all been one singular phase of the story reaching its climax, right? And, either the whole thing ends here or there's more acts to go. But you wouldn't separate this final little climax section into another part, because that's just not how it's just not really that's just not how it works, right? Like, if you're making a play, that's not how you separate the acts. If you're writing a movie, that's not what Act 1, Act 2 of the movie means, etc. But yeah, good stuff. I definitely enjoyed the stream quite a bit. And sorry it was such a battle. Sorry for the mods. It was such a battle that you guys had to, you know, fight off so many spoilers and everything like that. But yeah, I guess we'll talk after chapter 1043. And